Is it possible to have no expectations, but also the wildest expectations at the same time? Welcome back to another player preview in this series where I preview Portland Trail Blazers players. I've already dropped 5. There is a playlist linked in the description box below so you can go back and watch them back. Now, today we're talking about Shaedon Sharpe, the 7th overall pick from this past year's NBA draft, the mystery rookie who did not play in college but was recently the #1 player in his high school class, has a ton of natural talent. Damian Lillard called him an all-world talent, and now we finally get to see what he has after he missed Summer League due to a torn labrum. Shaedon Sharpe is healthy, he's practicing, he's a full go, so we should be able to see him play in preseason, and I am very excited for that. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what you should expect from him in year 1 on both ends of the floor. And the buzzword and the biggest storyline that I have for Shaedon Sharpe this year is flashes, because I think he will show flashes, but I don't think he will be consistent, and I don't know if he's going to be able to play right away. That's what happens when you get a guy with a ton of natural talent, but who's missed out on some repetitions, as he didn't play in college and then missed out on Summer League. It's hard to know what to expect from a guy like that, so the expectations are low for me, but given his natural talent, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows flashes of being a future star. And with Damian Lillard mentoring him, who I think is the perfect mentor for him, I think you'll see him improve pretty drastically throughout the season. Now, as far as his offensive game, I think that it'll take him some time to get acclimated to the speed and the pace of the NBA game. He's a very, very good athlete, but I don't think his first step is good at an NBA level yet. That is something you can develop, and I expect him to, and I think he will develop a better first step in the next couple of years. But right now, just given what I've seen from him, I don't expect him to be a guy that's blowing by guys or really shaking guys off too much with his ball handling ability. That's why I think he might struggle from the jump as a scorer, but he still has the natural talent, athleticism, and feel long term that if he struggles, it's not going to discourage me. You can work on ball handling, you can work on your first step. That's just the areas that he needs to improve upon in order to kind of tie together the rest of his NBA game. But then also, it's going to take some time for him to read the game at that speed, because it's the NBA. It's the best players in the world. He didn't even get that in college, so he's a little bit behind the curve in that regard. That's why I don't really have expectations. But the wildly optimistic expectations come in when you just look at his ability to knock down mid-range shots. I'm curious to see what he's going to be as a three-point shooter. And if he's playing with a bench lineup, he should get some touches and some opportunities to score. You have some good defensive pieces on there that can play make and kind of set him up. And I think that early on, he will get buckets by spotting up and actually playing off the ball, by being a cutter, by running in transition, and by hitting catch and shoot threes. He doesn't have to force anything with the amount of playmakers and shot creators that are on this roster, and that's what I'll be looking for this season, just how much he tries to force the type of game he's played before the NBA, and how much he just tries to adapt to just being another guy on a roster for now, and being a role player on the offensive end. If he's willing and capable and comfortable just playing off the ball, trying to make the right cuts, spotting up, and hitting threes, and then if he gets ran off the line, then that's when he can beat guys off the dribble and maybe create some problems. Then you're talking about a guy that could be a very solid player his rookie season, at least on the offensive end. It's just hard to guess at how exactly he's going to try and play on the offensive end. As far as his passing, I don't expect him to be a positive passer in year 1. He threw a pass in his 6 minutes of Summer League out of bounds. Like, it's going to take some time for him to make the right reads at the pace of the NBA game and then make accurate passes. So it would be nice to see him make the right play, make the right pass, create a little bit for others, but my expectations in that regard are none. And honestly, that's not exactly what the Blazers drafted him to be. They drafted Shaedon Sharpe with the hope that he will become a star level scorer that can also make plays plays for others years down the line. And his natural scoring ability is further ahead than his playmaking in my opinion. Now in these player previews, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some scheme things that I would like to see. So on the offensive end, I would like to see Shaedon Sharpe working off curls towards the mid-range. He likes mid-range shots, and if he can get a step, then he's a threat to get all the way to the rim with his athleticism. So working off the ball off of curls would be nice. Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons last season took a lot of screens that went away from the ball, and they'd run off it towards the ball, towards the middle of the court, and catch and either pull up from three or catch and turn the corner and go downhill and make a play. I think you could see that from Shaedon Sharpe, but maybe not from three. I would like similar action with him kind of going towards the free throw line because he seems comfortable from there. Of course, if he can knock down the three ball well enough, which is a bit of a question mark, then you could see him running similar stuff like Ant and Dame, where he's coming off to the three-point line and then trying to make a play. I just don't want it to be a situation where when he plays, he's just isolating like crazy. I want to see him just used off the ball and put in situations where he has a simple read. If you don't have a defender on you, shoot the ball. If you have a defender closing out on you, try and turn the corner and go downhill. If you can't do either, then pass it off and don't force anything. That's the type of game that I think you need to see Shaedon Sharpe play on the offensive end his rookie season. 5 years from now, hopefully he's doing all this Dame and Anthony Simons stuff, but if you remember Anthony Simons as a rookie, he wasn't doing anything off the dribble for the most part. Even as a second-year player, he's pretty much just a spot-up three-point shooter. Now entering year 5, we're talking about Anthony Simons like he's a star, and he can make plays for others, and his playmaking took a huge jump last year, and now he's creating a lot more off the dribble. So I think that's going to be a similar ascension for Shaedon Sharpe. I'm just hoping that Shaedon Sharpe can maybe get there a little bit quicker. Now, on the defensive end, I think Shaedon Sharpe has more potential than people realize. 7-foot wingspan, great athleticism, solid frame. He's somebody that I think will get beat a lot off the dribble his rookie year, but he has the athleticism to get back in the play, and it'll be interesting to see if he can just make up for getting beat on the ball with his recovery ability. I'm looking for him to just play hard when he's in the game. This is a good culture for him to go into, in my opinion, compared to maybe last year's team, in regards to there's a lot of competitive defensive pieces on this team for him to be influenced by, hopefully. And this dude has played against some phenomenal prospects and has done a solid job at times on the defensive end. It seemed like people looked at him as a negative defensive player entering the draft, but he had a lot of good moments on tape. I described some of those moments in more detail in my draft reaction video that I did to him. If you just go back and look in the video feed, you should be able to find it. But I think he has the natural and physical ability to be a good defensive player. It's just going to take some time for him to get used to the NBA game and for him to really become disciplined on that end. I think you'll see him biting at a lot of fakes, at a lot of crossover dribbles and that sort of thing. I expect him to be jumpy on that end this season, and I don't expect him to be a positive asset in that regard, but I expect him to have some impressive plays, maybe playing passing lanes with his wingspan and his quickness, maybe blocking a shot around the rim. Like, he will have moments defensively where he wows you, and that goes back to the storyline that I had for him, which is flashes. You'll see flashes of defensive ability. It just won't be consistent. I'm just hopeful long term that he can find that consistency and be hopefully a positive defensive piece. I think he has that potential. As far as his role in the rotation, it'll be tough for him to get minutes with the Blazers bringing Gary Payton II in free agency. You have Dame and Ant as the starting guards. You have probably Nasir Little as the starting small forward, and then off the bench at the wing spots, since Ant and Dame are going to stagger and Ant's basically going to be the starting 2 and the backup point guard, you're going to have Josh Hart and Gary Payton II at the backup 2 and 3. And honestly, I just don't think there's more minutes at those 3 positions with those 5 guys there for somebody else. So Shaedon Sharpe's going to have to come in and he's going to have to earn minutes. I don't think Chauncey Billups is going to force feed him minutes as a developmental tool. I just don't think this team is in position to do that. They're trying to win games, and you have a lot of depth at perimeter spots. You also got Keon Johnson, who I dropped a player preview on, that could factor into the equation at some point. So I think you may see a couple moments where he gets thrown out there into a game, maybe for a couple meaningful minutes just to see how he does, but I wouldn't expect him to regularly play. Some fans might be disappointed with that, but that's not a knock on Shaedon Sharpe. Everybody should know that this dude's going to be a bit of a long-term project. project with him coming into the league with his lack of experience, and everybody should know that this team has a lot of depth. They have a lot of perimeter pieces that deserve a lot of minutes. So if he doesn't play at all or doesn't find a role as a rookie year, there should be no negative reaction to that. Yes, he's the 7th overall pick, and you're probably going to have some guys drafted below him that look good their rookie years, and people are saying, oh, well, the Blazers should have taken that guy. He could have helped out. I remember that being the conversation with Anthony Simons not playing his rookie year and some guys below him looking solid and people saying we should have taken that guy. But now we're sitting here saying we're really happy we took Anthony Simons with the 24th pick back in 2018. So if the same thing happens with Shaedon Sharpe, and it probably will, there should be nobody saying it's a bad pick. I don't think there's anything that could happen this year where it makes me look back on the 7th pick like, yeah, that was a bad pick. It's a gamble. Even if it doesn't pay off, it's the right sort of gamble to take, and you're not going to find out what he can't become long term in year one. If he comes in and looks like a star from day one, then yeah, the dude's probably going to be a star. You can find out positive things about Shaedon Sharpe in year one, but given his situation, nobody should be freaking out if he does absolutely nothing. Nobody should be down on him if he does absolutely nothing all season. He's going to be getting the right mentorship from Damian Lillard and Chauncey Billups, and then Gary Payton II on the defensive end, and it's going to take some time to adjust. Now, I do have some statistical goals for Shaedon Sharpe, and it's really hard to come up with statistical goals given that he hasn't played at the NBA level. So this is just kind of tossing some numbers out there. We'll see what it looks like at the end of the year. I have 2 efficiency goals. That's to shoot 46% from 2 and 34% from 3. I also have the goal for him to have more assists than turnovers, which might be a little bit ambitious, but it's not too crazy. And then 3 per 36-minute goals. That is to average 15 points per game. As a natural scorer, I think he will get shots off at least. It just comes down to hitting enough of them. But then 2.5 assists per 36 minutes would be good for his rookie year, and then 4 rebounds per 36 for Shaedon Sharpe. That is his statistical goals. Let me know what you think of these goals for him. Anyway, that wraps up my player preview for Shaedon Sharpe. Let me know what you expect from him in his rookie season. Are you actually expecting him to have a role? If he doesn't do anything this season, will you be disappointed? Let me know down in the comment section below. It's always interesting to see the talk surrounding the mystery rookie that we have here in Portland. Check out the playlist for other player previews that I've dropped, and make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And with that being said, I'm out of here until next time. As always, peace out. Go Blazers!